Have you ever wondered how globalization first came into establishment? Ever imagine a time where basic food items like tomatoes and corn were considered exotic and new? This story first begins with the causes behind the age of exploration and the reason why Europeans even considered to sail beyond their own continent. During the late medieval ages, the Europeans were intrigued with new and exciting goods from places like Asia. Things like spice and silk were highly valued among their society, and therefore, in combination with its exotic nature, these goods were very expensive. Europeans would use trade routes and lands, such as the Silk Road, to retrieve those wanted items. However, it was both expensive and dangerous to travel through such parts. In light of this predicament, the Portuguese began looking towards the sea for trade routes. Henry the Navigator, a Portuguese prince, endorsed and encouraged such explorations due to the lack of resources in his own land. The Portuguese gained a lot of wealth from these explorations, and it caught the attention of the rest of Europe. Suddenly, Europeans became curious and aware of the fruits from exploration. This curiosity and greed for wealth would eventually lead to the discovery of the Americas around 1492. First off, Europeans easily gained wealth from this strange new land and brought many items back home for profit. New goods like corn, potatoes, peanuts, and far more were carried back to Europe. Some of these goods would become staples in the diet of European lives. Secondly, during the colonization of the new land, the explorers also brought their own inventions and goods to America. Some things would include coffee, sugar, horses, domesticated animals, and various grains. Also, unnoticed to the Europeans, they also brought many diseases, which would eventually lead to the death of 80 to 95% of all indigenous peoples within the next 150 years. Later on, the Europeans developed a plantation system, which would be reliant on slave labor. The slave trade would eventually explode, and during the next 300 years, 12 million people would be forcibly taken into slavery. Throughout the centuries, Europeans would continuously use the Americas to enrich themselves. This was a widespread push of flora, fauna, and culture between two completely different worlds, which was named the Columbian Exchange. The influence of these actions still continue to affect our daily lives in many forms. Racism and discrimination deeply disturb many lives in our modern society, which has roots through slavery in the past. Also, since the Americas got colonized, we now have the opportunity to live peacefully here, while also enjoying goods from all around the world. In conclusion, our general worldview has been extremely impacted by the events that took place during the Age of Exploration.